I owe a lot to Team Fortress 2. For the longest time it used to be my favorite game, and through this past decade it really shaped me as a person. I probably wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for this game, and I probably wouldn't have those interests I do have now. Because TF2 was something really special to me. It was a unique game, and it was one of the first games that really made me interested in gaming. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video today. I wanted to make this video for the longest time, but I just didn't have the motivation to do it, because of all the editing and work I had to put into it. But then I realized I didn't have to do those things. So this video is just going to be me sitting here talking out of memory about this game. I have no script, I only have a few notes to go off, and this video will truly be from the heart of why I think I owe a lot to Team Fortress 2. It all began September 2012, between the first Man vs. Machine update and the 4th annual Scream Fortress. I laid in bed, watching two videos from one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, the Yogscast, where they tried out this Man vs. Machine mode, and I was instantly captivated. So, the very next morning, September 19th, I got my mercenary badge and started my adventure as a mercenary in Team Fortress 2. I remember going through the list of game modes and trying to figure out what I should play. And I saw the one titled Capture the Flag, and I thought, oh great, I've played Capture the Flag at school before, I know what that is, I could play that. And so I hit play, and I saw those words, "You're on your way to 2 forts." I think that's funny, that for a new player, the first map they experience, it's probably the most iconic map of the game. I remember picking Scout first. I don't remember which team I was on, but I just went with the first character on the list, and I ran around and I explored the map, and I shot some people, I shot some friends, and discovered friendly fire wasn't a thing. And I distinctly remember asking the chat how to change your class. And so, after that, I played the shit out of that game. I absolutely loved it, day in and day out. I didn't play any specific class. I remember I played a lot of Scout, and Engineer, and Sniper, and Pyro, and Demo Man I loved as well. And still to this day I've never really had a main. I remember enjoying so many of the maps back then. And Nucleus, Harvest, Man Manor, and I even enjoyed Turbine, which is absurd to me now because I hate that map. I have to be honest. And it didn't take long before I discovered Man vs. Machine either, the game mode that I saw Yogscast play, and it was fantastic. I loved that as well. Over the years I've had on and off periods where I've played this game and didn't play this game, and right now I can admit I haven't played this game in a few months at least. But it doesn't change the fact that I do love this game, and I have many fond memories of it. I remember many of the updates over the years. I remember Love and War, when people were just dancing around, having fun with the new taunts that they introduced, and I think that was truly the height of the community. I remember Carnival of Carnage with the Halloween version of the Doomsday map with the bonus ducks and the bumper cars. It was amazing. I remember End of the Line, seeing the trailer to it and then waiting, what was it, 1 or 2 years it was almost, before the update came. And I remember being so disappointed with the map that they made for it, or the game mode, and also the fact that they didn't include the game mode in the actual update. It was in the next update, which I believe was Gunmetal, wasn't it? Whether it was or wasn't, I still remember Gunmetal was one of my favorite updates as well. They introduced the map Borneo, which is one of my favorites now, and the contracts, and the weapon skins, which I love, and so on. I remember Invasion, which was disappointing. I remember the community being hyped that hopefully there would be like a new man vs machine type game mode, and that the asteroid map or game mode will finally be out of the beta, which never happened. Both those things didn't come true. An Invasion update was kind of a letdown, but I have grown to love the Watergate map and the player destruction game mode, which I know most of the community doesn't. And then there was Meet Your Match, which I remember distinctly. I wasn't home at the time it first came out, so when I got home it was already the was it like second week or whatever it was when part 2 had released, and holy shit, I remember the mess of all that with the new UI and the new game searching function with the casual, and also the competitive mode, which sucked and to this day still sucks. I think I've played a whole lot of 2 matches of competitive since it came out. I don't really mind the new map searching function it came. And then came Jungle Inferno, which is another update I truly did love. You know, we got tons of new weapons for the Pyro, and 1 new weapon for the Heavy, which most of them were kind of disappointing, not that popular, but just the idea of getting new weapons that by that time was refreshing, and I remember agreeing to that. The new maps they introduced I loved, and the contracts they introduced then, which to this day you can still complete, which I think is great. It gives the game a bit more completion, you know, there's something more to do in the game, which I find is something I'm really looking for these days in games, especially multiplayer games like Team Fortress 2 is. So the game has had a lot of ups and downs in its update, and I have many fond memories of it, and I am thankful for a lot of it. But the updates were only one part of the game, of course. There's also the community, both in-game and on YouTube. I loved playing TF2 anytime I had the chance to, and all the times I didn't have the chance to, I watched TF2 content on YouTube. It didn't take long for me to search up more content than just those 2 Yogscast videos, and I quickly discovered all those fantastic YouTubers we all know and love. Star and Musilk and Kitty, Dr. Face, Uncle Dane, and of course, the greatest of all time, my absolute favorite, even to this day I love watching this man, Jerma. They really did something else for the community, I think, and of course there are many other people I didn't mention. And I don't think the game would be as popular as it is if it wasn't for them. And I don't think I would have been so invested in this game if it wasn't for them. Because they didn't just play the game, they showed me the funnier aspects of the game. Well, first of all, they introduced me to the community side of the game, the community servers, you know, with all its weird additional game modes, with versus Sexton Hale and The Hidden and the Mario Kart map. It was something special. And it is sad to see that most of these people have either left the game or left the platform completely, which I don't blame them for it. Times change, and you have to change with it. But I do miss those days, those glory days, you know? Going back and looking at those old videos, you know, corner creeps and or spee videos to Jerma, it brings out some special nostalgia in me. And I'm thankful for it. I owe a lot to them too, you know? Which then again rounds back to owing a lot to Team Fortress 2. And of course I wanted my slice of the pie, and it didn't take long before I made my first TF2 videos, and they were both on 2Fort as well, which is funny. And it didn't do so well. I mean, to this day my channel still hasn't done well at all, I think. And it is sad, but I still love making those videos. And I made a lot of videos of many different things. I made videos on 2Fort, I made a video on Harvest, I remember. I made videos on the surf game mode. I made videos where I, tried out different specific loadouts. I remember the Bird Scout and the Pan Plan Demo Man and the Barbecue Heavy. I love those videos. And I made long videos on the new updates that came as well. Sometimes I edited them and sometimes I just didn't have the energy to edit them down. And of course, as I said, I loved making those videos. And to this day I would probably still make those videos if the game was as popular as it was back then. But it wasn't just the TF2 videos that got me. As I mentioned, Kiddy and Dr. Face, I soon got into the Gmod animations, and I knew what Gmod was, Garry's Mod, and I mostly understood how those videos were made, and I enjoyed them very much. But it was something different. Today I discovered a Meet the Heavy video, and of course I've seen all the Meet the Team videos before, but this was an edited video, and I was so astonished by how it was edited because it was so well done. I thought, wow, this is some really good, video editing, some really good photoshopping of video, because, that's what I thought. I didn't know about After Effects back then, and I didn't know that it was actually made in a animation software called Source Filmmaker, which had those Meet the Heavy videos embedded in them, which Valve used to make those trailers. And that was truly the rabbit hole for how I wound up where I am today. So I owe a lot to TF2 because I owe a lot to Source Filmmaker. I remember being so excited at the idea of making animated videos based on TF2. I've had a history, from my friends and family. They know when I was a child I used to draw comics, and I was often told that I would probably grow up to be a comic creator, and it is in these recent years I've realized it wasn't comics, it was telling stories, and Source Filmmaker was just another medium to use for that. I remember I had a shitty laptop back then. I don't think it was a gaming laptop, but it was powerful enough to at least run TF2. And I remember having the laptop on all night to download SFM, and it wasn't done in the morning, and I was so mad because that software is so big and I couldn't wait to just get started. And when it was finished, I booted it up and I had no idea what to do or how to use it. But I found my way around, I watched a few tutorials, and eventually I made my first video, which was horrendous. And for some reason, it wasn't uploaded publicly to my YouTube, which I found out years later, and then publicly uploaded it. But I kept working on it, and I made my own version of Meet the Heavy. I made 2 of them, I believe. And I kept going, making little short videos with funny videos and stuff. Not much story in them. And then I discovered the Saxy Awards, the yearly annual award ceremony for Source Filmmaker animations, and I wanted that slice of the pie too, which a lot of my life was wanting a slice of the pie, and mostly never getting that pie, but that's a whole nother story. So anyway, I started making better videos. I started making more story-driven animations, and I uploaded my first Saxy Awards entry, Aperture Engineering, and it failed so horribly. I was so out of my league, or out of their league, or however that saying goes. I was not ready. I wasn't nearly as skilled as they were, and I got a lot of criticism on that video. But it didn't matter. I took it to heart, and next year I came back and I made Aperture Engineering Part 2, which is a much better video, but didn't nearly do as well in terms of views. And from there on it just spiraled out. I made Aperture Engineering Part 3, The Aftermath. I made Good Friends May Part, which is, I think, the best video or the most viewed video on my YouTube. And I continued on with that, with Good Friends Never parts. And earlier I also made like my 5-part series, Assassin's Creed Witching Hour, which had nothing to do with Assassin's Creed. And I also made a few music videos, Kaboom and One Team, and the one I'm not going to mention because I truly hate that video but don't have the heart to delete it. I never got my Sexy Award. I don't think I ever even got nominated because the competition just got harder by each year. The Winglet and Kostamoinen and all those people, it was just so much better than me and so much more devoted to this. And it saddens me to say that as it is right now, I am officially retired from SFM. The software has just become too hard to use, and that might be something to do with my PC, it might be something to do with how many workshop files I've downloaded onto it, but just struggles to work for me, and I don't have the patience to use it anymore. Which is sad, because I had a lot of ideas I wanted to put onto it. With the Witching Hour series and Aperture Engineering and such, I wanted to start my own cinematic universe, like Marvel, making stories for all these different characters and then bringing them together and stuff. I had a lot of plans, which I'm probably not going to put into life anymore, unless Valve, of course, updates the software, which, let's be honest, I don't think anyone believes that will happen anymore. But nevertheless, I'm still grateful for all those years I spent with it, and I learned a lot from using that software, using SFM, both in terms of animation work and just film work in general. And so, even though I never took off on YouTube with them, I still got a fair amount of views on them, and I got a lot of positive comments as well, and people are devoted followers of me, which I appreciate a lot. And who knows, someday I might just go back and finish those videos that I've started on. There's a specific video that I got really far into development actually, but I don't think I will finish either. But yeah, I was very devoted to SFM for a time, and in many cases I used SFM way more than I played TF2. I remember I've had 2 big breaks from TF2 where I didn't play it for, I want to say, almost a year, where I still used SFM daily. But that time is over now, sadly. And I have accepted that I probably won't return to SFM, and I have moved on. As I said, I owe a lot to SFM as well, because that was the next stage. It started with TF2, and then it went over to SFM, and it led me to where I am today. Today I am a film student at the university here in Norway, and I probably will graduate with that and start one day hopefully making television entertainment, which is great. And I owe that to a video game by Valve named Team Fortress 2. And that's crazy to think about, but I think it's important to think about. And that is why I owe a lot to TF2, because it made me find my interests. Made me find out what I wanted to be. And there's a lot of other things I haven't talked about yet, and probably won't mention in this video. So that's about it. There's a lot of other things I could have mentioned, the comics and such, and unusuals and all that, but it's something for another day. And it's not really related to me owing a lot to TF2, but it's still something I love about the game. So that's it, This is why I owe a lot to TF2. The game did a lot for me this past decade, and I will always hold it dear to my heart, even though how much dead people will say the game is. I owe a lot to TF2.